I'd like to invite you to tune up the radio, get your pens and paper out, and here we go into school again. And as I'm talking, I'm grabbing my paper as well. We've got Heather Black from, I'm going to call her the 211 lady. She is director for the North Carolina 211. Welcome to the Mary Morning Show, Miss Black.
Thank you, Mary. I really appreciate you inviting me to be here today.
Tell the audience what 211 is.
Sure. So 211 is simply those three numbers, those three digits, and just like you would dial 911 if you needed an ambulance or police, or you see the signs about dial 811 before you dig. 211 nationally has been designated as the three-digit dialing code if you need help finding health and human services resources in your community. So you can dial 211 and reach one of two call centers here in North Carolina. We have a call center in Asheville and a call center in Cary, and we're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And our amazing team of call specialists have a huge database of resources, and they can help you find things like food pantries, utility assistance, homeless shelters. If you have an aging parent that you're caring for, they can help you find resources to help support those needs. Utility assistance during COVID, obviously lots of different healthcare type needs, mental health resources. So we're really there to help you navigate through kind of the overwhelming feeling of where do I begin to start to find the resource to meet my need.
Wow. You just said a lot. I mean, I don't know if you heard me earlier talking about memory care.
Yes.
Yeah, we need memory care. So I'm going to call 211 to see if anybody can point me in the right direction. That is, see, ladies and gentlemen, I always tell them, Heather, that I learn a lot whenever I bring guests in, and you just came in and hit me right in the head, so that and that was just something I just talked about maybe 20 minutes ago about elderly and memory care.
Yeah, and that is an area that we can help with, and just a call to us is free and it is confidential. So a lot of the things that I just described are things that sometimes we're not ready to tell a lot of people we need help with. And there's a lot of reasons we might feel that way. So you can call and know that you are talking to a safe place just to get that information and kind of know what next step to take. And one of the first things that the call specialist is going to do is ask you your zip code, because we're going to try to find the resources that are right in your neighborhood, in your community.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You. Yeah.
Lovely just texted me and says, where does the funding for this, because this is massive to me. I know you said you got too long. Where do y'all get the money from to be able to do that?
Sure, that's a great question. So here in North Carolina, the 211 system is administered by United Way of North Carolina. That's who I work for.
Okay.
And we have the fortune of funding from a lot of our local United Ways around the state. So many of you may know about your local United Way in your community, and you can thank them for making sure that 211 is a healthy and vibrant resource in your community. We're also really grateful that here in North Carolina, our state legislature has made an investment. They give us an annual appropriation, and actually this year they increased that because with COVID, our call volume and our need is definitely increased. So they've given us additional funding.
Oh.
And then my role at 211 is to go out and find additional funding opportunities. And what we really try to do is find contracts and grants that we can leverage our infrastructure. So what I've described to you is kind of the day-to-day business of 211, of people who just have a need and they call us and we meet that need. But there's so many other things that we can do at 211, and we do. We have supported some of the recovery programs after hurricanes and during COVID, some of those assistance programs where we can do the intake process and help people access those programs. So we do that through contracts, and that helps with some of our funding as well. Mm-hmm. And we've had some great corporate sponsors. So Synchrony, which is a financial company, has provided some funding. We have a grant opportunity, and we've had funding in the past from Duke Energy. Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina has been one of our supporters. So it's a very diverse funding model, and that's kind of the role that I play, is to make sure we continue to seek that out.
Okay, so we got the money lady on that's that.
I'm kind of the everything lady, Mary. I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of hats.
Wonderful, wonderful. One of the other questions I have, okay, Lovely wanted to know about the funding, all right, because I told you most of the time she's texting me, so I'm looking at her question on the funding part. But my question is, how do you get the call center with everybody else talking about can't find anybody to work? How do you staff in the call center?
It's been tough. I'm not going to lie. It's been a challenge recently, and we're doing everything that we can, because this is not easy work, right? Talking to people all day about hard problems that people are experiencing in their lives it takes a special individual to do that work. We're very fortunate that we have an amazing team right now. We have about 22 call specialists and what we call navigators statewide, and they are just an amazing group of individuals. Many have backgrounds in social work or human services. Some have a background just in call center work, but they've come to be passionate about serving their community. And you really have to have kind of both of those skill sets to be a 211 call specialist. So it is challenging, and we, like every other employer, are struggling and doing everything we can to make our jobs appealing to folks.
Wow. Because I just imagine me calling one step short of tears and trying to get out, and you're trying to get the right answer to a question to be able to guide me through a particular, to get me what I need. I mean, you're right. You really need a special set of skills to ask that right question.
You do. And I do just want to be really clear, though. We are just getting you the information so that you can, take that next step to the resources in your community.
Yes.
We're not providing directly the financial assistance or the shelter or the utility assistance. We are connecting you and giving you information so you can go to those resources in your community. And one thing that I think is really special about what we do is we don't just give, the name and the phone number of the agency. We also have a resource team that does a great job of putting together all of the resources in our database. And I'll just share that those resources are also available online at nc211.org. So if you don't want to call, you can also just look online at our website. And there's so much information in a resource. It tells you what the eligibility criteria are. Is there any documentation you have to take when you go to that agency? Are there certain days that they can accommodate Spanish-speaking clients? Is there a bus stop nearby? Anything you might need to know, because we want, when you show up there as a client asking for help, we want you to be the best prepared client you can be. So that's the goal and the job of our resource team, which is a whole other component of the 211 model.
Wow. Okay, then. So you've got somebody that's pulling all this together, saying to somebody, I need, my electricity is been off for a minute, I need some help. Then you need to, you need this A, B, C, and D. All right. And
right. You might need to take your last utility bill. You might need to take proof of lack of employment or something like that. If you're doing food insecurity, they may ask for proof of the number of children in the household. So our resource team does all the research and work to verify. We have over 13,000 resources in our database statewide, and their job is to make sure that information is always current and updated.
Wow.
So that's an important job as well.
Well, your team is huge.
It's a huge, awesome team, but we're also lean and mean when you think about, so last year we handled 161,000 calls, and we had another 625,000 people who visited our website, and that's just 2021. Obviously, the year prior, 2020, during the pandemic, it was even a greater level of involvement.
Okay,
we're a member of the State Emergency Response Team.
Wait. Say those numbers again.
161,000 calls in 2021, which honestly, when you look at the population in North Carolina, there's a huge opportunity there for more people to utilize our 211 services.
Okay,
but we talked to 161,000 people and then 625,000 sessions on our nc211.org website last year.
Wow. So when you add the two together, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of clicks.
And that's just North Carolina. Nationally, 211s across the nation handled 19.7 million calls in 2021.
Wow.
So we're just a small piece of the puzzle. So I think it's 97% now of the nation has 211 coverage. There's just a few little pieces here and there. so I think they shared with me that you're not just North Carolina, Miss Mary. Your listening audience is beyond the boundaries of North Carolina. So I will say, beyond North Carolina, most of your listeners be able to also dial 211 and get connected to a similar service.
Wow, that is true because Lovely's in Florida. So
okay,
we've got it all
and
over.
Florida has a very strong 211 system, so she can call 211 down there and get served as well.
Heather, tell us, because she's over here texting me. I'm trying to read and listen. Not only if I dial on my phone 211, I'm going to talk to somebody. I also wrote down that I guess if depending on what state you are in, if you put I can put in nc211.org, and so if I was in Georgia, I do Georgia GA211.org or something.
That I don't know. Actually, the best thing to do, Mary, would be to go to just 211.org, which is the national website, and then you can put in your zip code, and they'll tell you exactly which system represents you.
Okay. So right here. I know about 211 because I was on the task force for some business owners that our homeless population was getting out of control. And they would say, don't give them any money, don't do those things, give them the card and have them call 211. And along the way, and this is my own personal testimony about how awesome it is that I watched that population shift from knocking on my door or but they had the card and they used it. So I do know, ladies and gentlemen, that it is definitely, as far as I know about the homeless population because I was on that task force and I know that was a big deal. All right.
Yes, housing and homelessness is our top need nationally, and here in North Carolina, the last 2 years has been the top caller need is housing and homelessness, and it's a growing issue. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, unfortunately, and it is a great starting place for someone who's experiencing that kind of a crisis to call 211. I think it's a great way to empower someone, and I think what you just described is exactly that, is empowering them and giving them a tool that they can access. And again, we're there all the time, so we're able to help them in the moment that they need that help. They're not having to get themselves somewhere or go wait in line or wait for something to open. 211's always there.
Wonderful. Lovely is asking, how can people help? How can we help?
Yes, is there like for just regular people, and say I don't have business, I don't own a bunch of money, how can I help?
Sure. I mean, there's always, you can always donate, and we do have a donate button on our website, and I'm sure if you go to that 211.org, you can certainly contribute, which, every nonprofit, we are a nonprofit, and every nonprofit loves that. And through your local United Way, not every 211 is part of a United Way, but many are. I think it's about 60% are affiliated with United Way. So supporting your local United Way is another great way to help 211. Doing just this, making sure, helping to raise awareness about 211 as a service in the community, whether it's through an awesome opportunity like this through a radio show, or just like Mary described, if you're involved in a local organization and you are on a board and you know about something that it would just make sense with, reach out to your local 211. There is probably someone just like me there who could work with you to help raise awareness, get you marketing materials, work on potentially partnering around an initiative. And then I think also if you're involved in a local nonprofit, making sure that nonprofit is keeping their information updated with 211, that they're also promoting it to their clients and helping to just make sure that the service is robust and always ready and available.
Thank you. I'm over here. You should see me, my little notepad. I'm just.
Well, and one other thing I'll say is if you are in a state like we are here in North Carolina and you have a relationship with your legislator, thank them for supporting us and encourage them to continue to support 211 through the state budget process, because that's a really important part of our funding. And I'm really grateful to our state legislators for making that investment in 211, but I know it always matters the most when they hear it from their local constituents.
Okay. So I'm going to tell Mr. Reeves. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you need to know who your person is so you know who to tell.
Yeah.
So
know who your person is, and if you have a contact with them, just say hey and thank you, because 211, I say we're one of the bipartisan things, right? There's nothing political about 211. We're a service that Republicans and Democrats, two governors McCrory and Cooper, have both leveraged 211 during hurricanes. We become the portal for information. We're activated as part of the state emergency response team.
Oh, wow.
And they've both leveraged us. So we are a neutral thing for the state to invest in, and we're very grateful for them to continue to make that investment.
And you just said a whole big mouthful. I'm going with my mouth dropped open. That you get whenever we have a disaster of some sort, you just like the National Guard gets the thing saying we need you, and we start the phones. So do you.
Yeah, so let me talk about that a little bit. So we're part of the state emergency response team, and what that means is that throughout the year we stay in touch with our colleagues at North Carolina Emergency Management and do exercises. But when there is a hurricane or another state-level disaster, the governor and emergency management can activate us. And then you will start to hear, as part of the state-level messaging, call 211, dial 211. And for Hurricanes Matthew and Florence and Isaias and Dorian, some of the storms that we've had over the past few years, we activated and just really stepped up. I was so proud of our team. We actually embed some of our staff, including myself, at the State Emergency Operations Center here in Raleigh so that we're getting the most current information possible to push out to our call centers so that they have that for our callers. And people call us then to say, do I need to evacuate? Okay, where do I go? Where's the nearest shelter? And then after the storm passes, how do I get clean water? How do I get tarps for my roof? Wow. How do I call FEMA? I don't even understand or remember how to do all of this. So we're kind of that centralized clearinghouse for all of that information, and that's a really important role we play. And then we also are able to bring information back to emergency management through daily reporting that we do to them, because we track all of the needs that our callers share with us, and tell them what trends we're seeing and hearing from the community during a disaster. So one other thing I want to share about disaster response that's really unique to 211s nationally is we all work together. So during Hurricanes Matthew and Florence, specifically here in North Carolina, no 211 system is ready for the kind of surge of call volume that you're going to get during a hurricane. But we have amazing partnerships all around the country with our 211 partners, and we all follow the same standards and use very similar technologies. So, for example, in Hurricanes Matthew and Florence, we had some of our calls being supported by our partners in New Jersey and Connecticut and Michigan and California and Texas. And then we've done the same for them. So we've supported, during Hurricane Harvey in Houston, we were helping with their calls, and in California during the wildfires. So that's one of the wonderful things about the 211 network is we're so collaborative and we're able to help each other out, because no 211 system is ready to handle the surge that comes with a governor saying, call 211. It's a big lift.
It's a big lift. Girl, you over here teaching. You go ahead on and teach us. Help us.
I know, I'm giving you a lot of information, I want to share, if I can, a really great story from our COVID activation, Mary, that I think you'll find really fascinating. So I mentioned just a little bit about us being able to see trends in callers. So we were activated on March 20th of 2020 to support the COVID-19 response here in North Carolina. And about a month in, we had started to see a really unusual trend, and I'll admit I was naive to it, of a number of North Carolinians who were living in motels and hotels as their residency. And as we all know, very quickly in the pandemic, when everything started to shut down and people lost their income source, we heard about evictions were going to happen very quickly. So then those moratoriums started to happen to protect people who were in rental situations. Well, sadly, the eviction language did not protect people who were in those motel and hotel situations.
Oh, wow.
And we fortunately had some really great data very quickly that we were able to put together and partner with our colleagues at Legal Aid of North Carolina, who had some of the legal research, and take that up to our partners in state government at the governor's office and DHHS and eventually Attorney General, and get some clarification added to the eviction moratorium to protect those very people who are also living in motels and hotels, and get that language expanded to protect them. So that's the part of my job that I love. I don't have the honor and privilege of being on the phones every day talking to individual callers, but when I can see a trend like that and then take that and advocate for a large group of North Carolinians, that's, to me, the most rewarding part of my job. So I just wanted to share that story.
That is a great story because, everybody may not necessarily know somebody, but I know somebody that was in the hotels with their kids. And, I didn't know how they got to stay. I didn't ask those questions on my side, but I know they got to stay during that time frame. Didn't know that that's what you were doing on the other side. Look at God.
We're just a small part of it. We were just a small part of it, but one of the things about 211 is we do have the ability to look at our data in a very real-time way. I'm going to give you one more website, 211counts with an S, 211counts.org. is an online data dashboard, and it's available to everybody. And you can go on there and click on North Carolina or Florida if you want to, and see data from your 211 system as recently as yesterday. It updates overnight every night.
Oh, wow.
You can filter that data. Yeah, you can look at it by zip code, by county, by legislative district, and see what the needs were and what callers were talking about just yesterday when they called 211. So that's the other thing I think that's really unique about 211s is how readily accessible our data is.
That is so awesome. I've been blown away. It's one thing when you use a service and you don't really know what goes into it, and then to hear you talk about it so flawlessly that it all just hand in glove works together. It's like, whoa! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you can tell. Hope you can tell how much I love my job. I really
can tell. I really
want to make sure people know the data is all aggregated, anonymous. We are never looking at or sharing individual caller data. Again, that call that you make is anonymous and confidential.
Wow.
We do like being able to see the trends of our callers and understanding what's happening and what barriers there are out there, and if there's disconnections between where services are and what people need. So that's why that's so important.
And it also keeps it fresh. I love the fact that you can do real time, and just in case that program closed, if somebody forgot to tell the people over there, you already can say, no, sir, that one there is closed. I need you. They transferred it to a different place, or go to a new address, and it's not a month later, and then all these that's all I'm saying. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Yeah, we need to. It doesn't help somebody who's facing a hunger issue or a food insecurity issue to find out in 2 weeks what the pantry's hours are. They need to know today.
They need to know.
That's our goal.
Amen. 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 Heather, give us all I know that everybody understands that just like you dial 911, you can dial 211, and you're going to talk to someone, and they're going to help you navigate, I'm going to make a funny. So my toenail hurt, and I need to be able to find somebody to fix my toenail, right? And if that was part of that system, you could
that one you might want to call 911 for. No, okay, I hear you. I get what you're saying.
I might need a new pair of shoes.
Right. If I don't have shoes, then we could find you a clothing donation location.
Yeah. So
I do want to share. We do have a 10-digit number just for someone if there are very rare instances where maybe a cell phone wouldn't work. We've done a lot of work to make sure that all the cell phones in North Carolina work. But also, if you have any deaf or hard of hearing audience members that use a relay service, they may need our 10-digit number.
Okay.
It's 888. So it's 888-892-1162. And I think there's one other thing I haven't mentioned is that we are a multilingual service. So we have bilingual staff in our call center, Spanish-speaking staff, But every call specialist has access to our translation line, and we can translate in basically any language that you throw our way. So I just want to make sure
wait, say that again.
So it's multilingual. So we have Spanish-speaking staff in the call center, and we have a language line that can cover, I think it's 150-plus languages. So I look at the report, and we've had Somali, Arabic, French, Korean, so we can meet callers where they are.
Wow. That right there is amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Because I got some Yemen clients that I bat my eyes, and their English is so bad, we be trying to write stuff down. So to be able to have a language line that it doesn't matter what language you speak. Oh, wow.
It might make the call a little longer, and it might make it a little, cumbersome at times, because it adds a third person to the call, but we will take care of anybody who calls and meets them. I always joke, the one thing we don't have is a Southern dialect translator, and sometimes that is harder to understand than anything at times.
Don't be getting on us about our drawl.
I know. I'm from here too, so it's all good.
So good. You have been a jewel to me. Miss Heather, you have been a jewel. You have given us so much information.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I feel very grateful to have had this opportunity, and hope that your callers will know that they have a safe place and a place of people who are there to help and support them if they're facing just one of those daily things that life throws our way sometimes. So know that 211 is there to help when that happens.
I am glad and very thankful that you have decided to come on the Mary Morning Show to put this information in perspective for me, and to be able, because I'm going to dial 211 after we get off so that I can talk about memory care, so see what they send me. And I'm just appreciative, because this is exactly what we've been trying to do, Miss Heather, is to get this information out to the listening audience that is all over the world. That if you're in, now we know, it's not this particular information all over the world, and that they might be able to get the services or something similar if you happen to be in one of those pockets, but find similar services that you've offered. And I'm going to be looking for you in the background next time, whichever governor we got, Governor Cooper got an emergency, I'm going to be looking for you, Miss Heather.
We'll be there. We'll be in the room getting the information so that we have it. And just, if everybody calls at once today, it might give us a little bit of a hold time, so just give us a little grace on that, or wait a little bit if you don't have a real urgent need, just because something like this can also increase our call volume. Just know that. My team is probably going, oh, no.
No. We heard her.
We say thank you in advance. So
yes,
for everything that they do.
Say that again, Lovely.
I will share that with them.
Say that again, Lovely.
I said tell them thank you for all that they do.
Yes.
Because without them doing what they do, how would it run? If they wasn't making sure that each program was efficient for the people that need it, and all the changes that are going on, maybe the homelessness, like she said, is in the hotels now with the laws, if it wasn't for them, how would they have known that that's still considered homeless?
Yep, they're an amazing group of people.
And here at the Mary Morning Show, we always acknowledge the people that nobody thinks that we care about you. We sure do. We care about you, and we will always take the moment to say thank you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Heather, is there any social media besides the numbers that you've given us? Is there anything?
Oh, that's great. We're on Twitter and Facebook, so please feel free to follow us. I believe it's just at NC211 in both instances, so please, look us up.
Wow. So you've heard it from Miss Heather Black, ladies and gentlemen, the director of the North Carolina 211 organization, and we are very appreciative of all that you do, and thank you for helping us when we're not at our best, because it takes a very special person to be able to fill in there and not make me feel less than. Yeah, believe me, as a veteran that sometimes got triggers, your staff and you got to know that we are appreciative of those who just want to help and not make my life worse.
Yep.
We're the helpers. We're here to be the helpers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
You're quite welcome. And if you've got some updates, please call us, and we'll put you on, Miss Heather. You have an open invitation to the Mary Morning Show, to WXKL 1290. Just call us and say, Terrence, Miss Mary said, and he'll put you, if ain't nobody else on, we'll come in here and put you on so that you can put that information out to the listening audience so that we can always be prepared for any updates that's going on with you. You have an open door over here, Miss Heather. So don't be a stranger.
We'll do that.
All right?
Yeah, don't be no stranger.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mary Morning Show. I've had Heather Black from 211 with us today. We are appreciative for your time. It is about to be the 9 o'clock hour. And don't you know, we got good gospel music coming on. And, you know, and what we say, it's going to be big.
Big. Okay.
I don't know what you're going